Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again playing some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. This week we'll be playing with all the main best friends decks. We'll be doing Joey, Jesse, Crow, I don't like Zexel's best friend because he didn't play much and it's like kind of suck anyway. So we'll be choosing Trey as the best friend of Yuma on that one. Leo from 5Ds, Cyrus Truesdale from GX, and then Gong Strong, which by the end of this I'll have to take a moment to switch out Cyrus to make a Gong Strong deck. So let's start off with my favorite of the best friend deck, Joey Wheeler, the godfather of games, capiche? Okay. There's a lot of Red Eyes themes in here, but a lot of luck based cards, and oh god, I just love Joey Wheeler's deck as it evolved over the years from Duelist Kingdom and Battle City and then the Seal Orichalco's arc. It just, you can see like not only the growth of the character, his deck grows along with him. And by the time they ended the Duel Monsters series, he was like a serious duelist. All right, let's start off with the magic cards. Cards of the Red Stone. Send one level 7 Red Eyes monster from your hand to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards. Then you can send one level 7 Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate this once per turn. Dark Dragon Ritual. This card is used to ritual summon Paladin of Dark Dragon. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total level equals 4 or more. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add one Red Eye spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Giant Trunade. Return all spell and trap cards on the field to the hand. Graceful Dice. Roll a 6-sided die. All monsters you currently control gain attack and defense equal to the result times 100 until the end phase. I include instant fusion so I can summon my flame swordsman, because I do not have the monster materials in this, so I can include other stuff. A Malevolent Nuzzler was in like the starter deck back in the day for Joey Wheeler. The equipped monster gains 700 attack. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can pay 500 life points. Place this card on the top of your deck. Red Eyes Fusion. Fusion summon one fusion monster that lists a Red Eyes monster as material for your extra deck. Using monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion materials, and if you do, its name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon. You cannot normal or special summon other monsters the turn you activate this card. You can only activate this once per turn. Red Eyes Transmigration. This card is used to ritual summon Lord of the Red. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish Red Eyes monsters from your graveyard, except Red Eyes Black Chick, whose total level equal 8 or more. Release Restraint. Tribute one Gearfried the Iron Knight, special summon one Gearfried the Sword Master from your hand or deck. Roulette Spider. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, roll a 6-sided die and apply the result. Half your life points, make the attack a direct attack. Choose one monster you control, change the attack target to it, and perform damage calculation. Choose one other monster your opponent controls, change the attack target to it, and perform damage calculation. negate the attack, and if you do, let me start over again. Die number 1, half your life points. If die number 2, make it a direct attack. If it's 3 die, choose one monster your opponent you control, change the attack target to it, perform damage calculation. Die 4, choose one other monster your opponent controls, change the attack target to it, and perform damage calculation. Roll a 5, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. And if you roll a 6, destroy that opponent's monster. Scapegoat. Supposed to summon 4 sheep tokens in defense position. These tokens cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, but you can normal set. Second coin toss. When a coin toss is performed, you can choose to redo the coin toss. If the toss involved multiple coin flips, redo all of them. You can only use this effect once per turn. Sealed and Sword. Puts the original attack and defense of all face-up monsters currently on the field until the end phase. The Claw of Hermos. This card is also always treated as legendary Dragon Hermos. Send one monster from your hand or field to the graveyard of the type that is listed on the fusion monster that can only be special summoned with Claw of Hermos. If that card is set, reveal it. Then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck. You can only activate Claw of Hermos once per turn. With Claw of Hermos, with Claw of Hermos, it allows you to fusion summon a lot of equipment type monsters. With Kaiba, it allows you to fusion a lot of trap cards to make powerful monsters. With Yugi, fusion summon a lot of monsters. Bottomless Trap Hole. When an opponent summons a monster with 1500 or more attack, destroy that monster with 1500 or more attack, and if you do, banish it. Drop Off. When an opponent draws from their normal draw in their draw phase, your opponent discard one card they drew. Fairy Box. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, toss a coin and call it. If you call it right, the attacking monster's attack becomes 0 until the end of the battle phase. During each of your standby phases, pay 500 life points or destroy this card. Grave Robber. Select one spell card from your opponent's graveyard. You can use it as your hand until the end of the turn. If you use it, you take 2000 life points of damage. Kunai with Chain. Activate one or both of these effects simultaneously. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, change that target to defense position. Target one monster your opponent controls, target one monster you control, equip this card to that target against 500 attack. Magic Arm Shield. When your opponent declares an attack while you control a monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, except the attacking monster. Take control of that target until the end of the battle phase. If you do, it is attack instead, and you proceed to damage calculation. Metamorph. Target one face-up monster you're on the field, equip this card to that target. Against 300 attack and defense. If it attacks against 300 equal to half the attack of the attack target during damage calculation only. Red Eyes Burn. If a face-up Red Eyes monster you control, except Red Eyes Black Check, is destroyed by battle or card effect, target one of those monsters. Both players take damage equal to its original attack. You can only activate once per turn. Red Eyes Spirit. Target one Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, except check, special summon it. Return of the Red Eyes. If you control a Red Eyes monster, except Red Eyes Check, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If this card is in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, except check, special summon it. You're going to use this effect once per turn. Skull dice. Roll a 6-sided die. All monsters your opponent currently controls loses attack and defense equal to the result times 100 until the end phase. Alligator sword. This mighty lizard man can swing his sword so fast that it's more than the speed of sound. It sounds more Jamaican than pirate. Armored lizard. A lizard with a very tough hide and a vicious bite. Axe raider. An axe-wielding monster of tremendous strength and agility. Baby dragon. Much more than just a child, this dragon is gifted with untapped power. Meteor dragon. This dragon appeared from the sky and crashed to Earth. Red Eyes Black Dragon. A ferocious dragon with a deadly attack. Summon Skull for good measure. Black Dragon's Chick. You can send this face-up card you control to the graveyard. Special summon one Red Eyes Black Dragon from your hand. Blue Flame Swordsman. Once per turn during either player's battle phase, you can target one other warrior type monster you control. This card loses exactly 600 attack, and if it does, that monster gains 600 attack. When this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one fire warrior type monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. This card is based off of the it was the Flame Swordsman in the Virtual World arc in season 3 as the deck master for Joey, with decreasing the attack power to increase the warrior's attack power, but is made into like a separate card. Copycat. When this card is summoned, target one face-up monster your opponent controls. This card's attack and defense become equal to that monster's original attack and defense. Fiber Jar. Flip effect. Each player shuffles all cards in the hand, field, and graveyard into the deck, then draw 5 cards. And that card really saved my butt like a bunch of times. Gear Free the Iron Knight. When an equipped card is equipped to this card, destroy that equipped card. Gear Free the Sword Master. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with release restraint, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. When an equipped card is equipped to this card, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. Gear for the Lightning. You can tribute 3 monsters to tribute summon but not set this card. If summoned this way, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Jinzo. Trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap cards effects on the field. Little Wingard. Once per turn during your end phase, you can change the battle position of this card. Panther Warrior. This card cannot declare an attack unless you tribute one monster. Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon, Gemini monster. Once normal summoned again, if damage calculation is performed involving this card at the end of the battle phase, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to this card's original attack. You can only use this effect once per turn. Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your deck by tributing a Red Eyes Black Dragon equipped with Metamorph. Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by tributing one Red Eyes Black Dragon. It cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card gains 300 attack for each dragon type monster in your graveyard. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one dragon type monster you control. Once per turn, you can special summon one dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard except Darkness Metal Dragon. Red Eyes Retro Dragon. If a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster you control except Red Eyes Check is destroyed by your opponent's attack or card effect and sent to the graveyard while this card is in your hand, You can special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, special summon as many of those destroyed monsters as possible in the same position they were in when destroyed. You can tribute this card. You can tribute this card. You can normal summon one red eyes monster during your main phase this turn except check, in addition to your normal summoner set. You're going to use this effect once per turn. Red Eyes Wyvern. During your end phase, if you did not normal summon or set a monster this turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one Red Eyes monster from your graveyard except check. Rocket Warrior. During your battle phase, this card cannot be destroyed by battle and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. If this card attacks a monster, after damage calculation, that attack target loses 500 attack until the end of this turn. The Black Stone of Legend. You can tribute this card, special summon one level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck except check. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard except check, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, add this card to your hand. You only use this effect once per turn. The Fiend Mega Cyber. If your opponent controls at least 2 or more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. The Time Wizard. Once per turn, you can toss a coin and call it. If you call it right, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. If you call it wrong, destroy as many monsters you control as possible, and if you do, take damage equal to half the total attack those monsters had on the field. Lord of the Red. You can ritual summon this card with Red Eyes Transmigration. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can when a card or effect is activated, except Lord of the Red, you can target one monster on the field, destroy it. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, except Lord of the Red, you can target one spell or trap card on the field, destroy it. Paladin of Dark Dragon. You can ritual summon this card with Dark Dragon Ritual. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, destroy that monster. You can tribute this card, special summon one Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck, except check. You can only use this effect once per turn. Alligator Sword Dragon. Requires Baby Dragon and Alligator Sword. This card can attack your opponents directly if the only face-up monsters they control are Earth, Water, or Fire. Black Skull Dragon. Requires Red Eyes Black Dragon and Summon Skull. Flame Swordsman. Requires Flame Manipulator and Maskey the Legendary Swordsman. Goddess Bow. Must be special summoned with the Claw of Hermos using a warrior type monster and cannot be special summoned by other ways. If this card is special summoned, target one other face-up monster on the field, equip this card to it. While this card is equipped to a monster by this effect, negate the first effect activated by your opponent during each battle phase. Also, after that, the equipped monster can make a second attack during this battle phase. Meteor Black Dragon. Requires Red Eyes Black Dragon and Meteor Dragon. Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. Must be summoned by Claw of Hermos with a dragon type monster. If this card is special summoned, target one other face-up monster on the field, equip this card to it. It gains 1000 attack and 500 attack and defense for each dragon type monster on the field and in the graveyard. Rocket Hermos Cannon. Requires Claw of Hermos and a warrior type monster. Target one other face-up monster on the field, equip this card to it. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, and if it attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Thousand Dragon. Requires Time Wizard and Baby Dragon. Time Magic Hammer. Requires a spellcaster type monster and Claw of Hermos. Equip it to a monster at the start of the damage step. If it battles an opponent's monster, you can roll a 6-sided die and balance that opponent's monster until the standby phase of the nth turn. After this, effects activation. Nth equals the result. So if I roll a 4, then by the 4th standby phase, that banished card can return to the field. Red Eyes Black Flare Metal Dragon. Xyz monster requires 2 level 7 monsters to summon. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has an Xyz material. While this card has an Xyz material, each time your opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard, supposed to summon it. Then the side cards Joey had: Legendary Sword, Rageki, Sagan, Swords. No, he didn't have swords related, right? Reinforcements, Trap Hole, Flame Manipulator, Guruzis, Maski the Legendary Swordsman, Swordsman on Landstar, couldn't keep it, but I had it just for nostalgia's sake. Goblin Attack Force, Hayabusa Knight, and the Legendary Fisherman. Oh, okay. That's wrong one. Now let's do this. Let's try out Joey's deck. Take a minute. And once per turn. Please don't let it be a mirror wall. Something good. I will play mines that once we go to the main female protagonist decks. I love Mai's decks, the Amazon and Harpy ladies. And get a strong monster, keep it in my hand as a reserve. Nice, pretty quick. Nothing. If you had like those two confused together, I forgot the monster they make. There we go. That's what I was waiting on. The heart of the cards has served me well. Go, Red Eyes! Have you seen the anime during Duel Monsters when Joey acquired Red Eyes? I think I mentioned this in my season 1 review you can find on my YouTube channel. That was like a pivotal moment for Joey to acquire one of the best cards he has in his deck. It was like a seriously awesome moment. And it became easily his like the headliner of his deck for the longest time. Wow. Couldn't get like another monster to summon. That's like a backup plan. What was that? Number 3. Choose one monster you control, chains, attack target. Rex shouldn't be giving me problems. Out of all people. Yeah. Of course. Okay, just about even things up. Just want to use it. Maybe a black dragon. Face off against Kaiba with Yoi's deck. Battle for the bronze. We got lucky break. Feel free, the Sword Master. Nice try, Kaiba boy. No matter what he has face down, it is useless. And wish he had Jinzo out on the field when he was in the anime, when he was dueling against Kaiba. That could have nullified Kaiba's Crush Card virus. I'm too bad I couldn't summon any Claw or Hermos magic cards. Okay. That was Joey. Oh, we're going up and down. So they're going back and forth. Jesse. The Rainbow Dragon deck. All right, this should go pretty quickly. He has more support cards, you know, in last year or so. I wish it was in this game. Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. You must have this many Crystal Beast cards in your spell and trap card zones to activate and to resolve these effects. 1. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. 2. Once per turn, including your opponents, you can halve the battle damage you take. 3. During either player's turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, you can send one Crystal Beast monster you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. 4. Once per turn during your main phase, you can draw one card. 5. Once per turn during your main phase, you can target one Crystal Beast card in your spell or trap card zone, also summon that target. Crystal Abundance. Send 4 Crystal Beast cards from your spell and trap card zones to the graveyard. Send all cards on the field to the graveyard and special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters as possible from your graveyard up to the number of cards your opponent controlled that were sent to the graveyard by this effect. Crystal Beacon. Special summon one Crystal Beast monster from your deck. You must have 2 or more Crystal Beast cards in your spell and trap card zone to activate and to resolve this effect. Crystal Blessing. Target up to 2 Crystal Beast monsters in your graveyard. Place those 2 targets face up in your spell and trap card zone as continuous spell cards. Crystal Promise. Target 1 Crystal Beast card in your spell and trap card zone. Supposed to summon that target. Crystal Release. Equip only to a Crystal Beast monster. Against 800 attack. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can place 1 Crystal Beast monster from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell card. Crystal Tree. Each time a Crystal Beast monster is placed in either player's spell or trap card zone, place 1 crystal counter on this card. You can send this card to the graveyard. Take a number of Crystal Beast monsters from your deck equal to the number of crystal counters that were on this card, then place those monsters in your spell and trap card zones. Rare Value. If there are 2 or more face-up Crystal Beast cards in your spell or trap card zone, your opponent chooses 1 Crystal Beast in your zone, sends it to the graveyard, then draw 2 cards. Crystal Counter. Send all cards in your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard. Place as many Crystal Beast monsters as possible from your graveyard in your spell and trap card zone. Face up. During your end phase, destroy all face-up Crystal Beast cards you control. Crystal Pair. When a Crystal Beast monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, place 1 Crystal Beast monster from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone as continuous spell card. You take no battle damage for the rest of this turn. Crystal Raigeki. Send 1 Crystal Beast card from your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard. Target 1 card on your opponent controls. Destroy that target. Last Resort. Activate only when your opponent's monster declares an attack. You can select 1 Ancient City Rainbow Ruins from your deck and activate it. If your opponent has had an active field spell card, when this card was activated, they can draw 1 card. Rainbow Gravity. If you have 7 Crystal Beast cards with different names on the field or in your graveyard, supposed to summon 1 Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon from your deck or graveyard, ignoring the summoning conditions. Rainbow Life. Discard 1 card. Until the end of this turn, whenever you would take damage, you gain that amount of life points instead. Rainbow Path. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, send 1 Crystal Beast card from your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard to target the attacking monster. Negate the attack, then add 1 Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon from your deck to your hand. Trap Jammer. When your opponent activates a trap card during the battle phase, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Triggered Summon. Activate only when a monster is supposed to summon to your opponent's side of the field. Each player can supposed to summon 1 level 4 lower monster from their hand. I got Neos here. A new elemental. Oh, I already named it or read it. Crystal Beast Amber Mammoth. When another face-up Crystal Beast monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can make this card the attacking target instead. If this face-up card is destroyed while it's on the monster card zone, you can place it in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell card instead of sending it to the graveyard. All Crystal Beast has this kind of secondary effect. Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat is unique effect. This card can attack your opponent directly, but when it uses this effect, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is halved. Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle. Once per turn, you can target one face-up Crystal Beast card you control, return that target to the top of the deck. Crystal Beast Emerald Tortoise. Once per turn, you can target one monster you control that attack this turn, change that target to defense position. Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. When this card is special summoned, you can special summon as many Crystal Beast cards as possible from your spell and trap card zones. Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. When this card is summoned, you can place one Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap card zones as a continuous spell card. Crystal Beast Topaz Tiger. If this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 400 attack during the damage step only. If this face-up card is destroyed while it's unique effect. Dragon Queen Tragic Endings. I've seen this in the game when I battled Jesse. It's very useful for this type of deck. This card cannot be normal summon or set. This card can only be special summoned by controlling 3 or more face-up continuous spell cards. When this attacking card inflicts battle damage to your opponent selects and sends one card from their hand to the graveyard, and you draw 1 card. During your standby phase, if this card is in your graveyard and was sent there from the field, you can send 1 face-up continuous spell card you control to the graveyard, special summon this card from the graveyard. I included Haman for the same reason. Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder. Cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 face-up continuous spell cards from you control to the graveyard. It cannot be special summoned by other ways. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. While this card is in face-up defense position, your opponent cannot target other monsters for attacks. Rainbow Dragon. Cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summoned from your hand by having 7 Crystal Beast cards with different names on your field or in the graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot activate its effects the turn it's special summoned. During either player's turn, you can send all Crystal Beast monsters you control to the graveyard. This card gains 1000 attack for each card sent. You can banish all Crystal Beast monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all cards on the field into the deck. And finally, Rainbow Neos. Requires Elemental Hero Neos and Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon to summon. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Send 1 monster you control to the graveyard, shuffle all monsters your opponent controls into the deck. Send 1 spell and trap card you control to the graveyard, shuffle all spell and trap cards your opponent controls into the deck. Or send 1 card from the top of your deck to the graveyard, shuffle all cards in your opponent's graveyard into the deck. Okay, Jesse Anderson. He talks with a nice little southern charm. Oh, good thing I placed that there then. It's just for added insurance, but not a big deal or big loss. I'm gonna go against Chumley on this one. I might have to make these kind of videos in like two-parters, because going over each one, reading their specific cards, that takes a minute too. There's no guarantee how fast I get through the 3 matches that I want to do with each one. Oh boy. Was a waste. Don't know if I'll be able to summon my rainbow dragon. The Amber Mammoth. I'll have all 7. Might lose this one, but I just want to go up against Jaden. There's a little challenge, especially when you got those Neos creatures. Forgot about Flare Scarab's ability. I need to pay attention. I'm not gonna waste that. Ooh, that was pretty close. Ooh, that was a bit of a challenge halfway through. That was Jesse's deck. Jesse's girl. Next, Bro Hogan. All right, now he's fun. I love the Blackwing deck. I just dominate with the Blackwing deck. If you're making a Blackwing deck, make sure you don't have to set up exactly like I do, but as far as magic and trap cards, I think he has more dominant of trap cards than he do magic cards. But it's still a fair bit of magic cards that they are there to support the Blackwing deck. All right, against the wind. It's one Blackwing monster in your graveyard. Take damage equal to the attack of the selected monster and add it to your hand. Black Whirlwind. When a Blackwing monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add one Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand with less attack than that monster. I need to get me a Blackwing deck in real life. I love the Blackwing. Just about as much as I do the Raid Raptors. These bird thing decks are awesome. About time the Wing Beast has awesome supports, or at least awesome archetypes. Blackwing Strife. Send one Blackwing monster from your hand to the graveyard. To select one defense position monster your opponent controls, send that monster to the graveyard. Cards for Black Feathers. Banish one Blackwing monster from your hand, draw 2 cards. You cannot special summon during the turn you activate this card. You can only activate 1 cards for Black Feathers per turn. Extra net. If a monster or monsters is special summoned from the extra deck, the opponent of that player that conducted the special summon can apply this effect. Draw 1 card. Raptor Wing Strike. Shuffle 1 Blackwing monster you control into the main deck. Add 1 Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand. Black Feather Beacon. Activate only when you take damage from a card effect. Also summon 1 level 4 or lower Blackwing monster from your hand. Black Return. When exactly 1 Blackwing monster and no other monster is special summoned, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, gain life points equal to the attack of that target, and if you do, return it to the hand. Black Sonic. When an opponent's monster declares an attack on a Blackwing monster you control, banish all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls. If you control exactly 3 Blackwing monsters and no other monsters, you can activate this card from the hand. Black Thunder. Activate only when a Blackwing monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Inflict 400 damage to your opponent for each card your opponent controls. Blackwing Revenge. When a winged beast type monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon 2 Blackwing Black Crest tokens. Black Back. During your turn, target 1 Blackwing monster with 2000 or less attack in your graveyard. Supposed to summon that target. You cannot normal summon or set during the turn you activate this card. Black Boost. Banish 2 face-up Blackwing tuner monsters you control. Draw 2 cards. Blackwing Backlash. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack while you have 5 or more Blackwing monsters in your graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Blackwing Bombardment. Tribute 1 Blackwing monster to select 1 face-up synchro monster you control. That synchro monster gains attack equal to the tributed monster's attack until the end phase. Blackwing Booby Trap. When this set card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect while you control a face-up Blackwing monster, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent and draw 1 card. Delta Crow Anti-Reverse. If you control a Blackwing monster, destroy all face-down spell or trap cards your opponent controls. If you control exactly 3 Blackwing monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. Fake Feather. Send 1 Blackwing monster from your hand to the graveyard and select 1 normal trap card in your opponent's graveyard. The effect of this card will be the same as the selected normal trap card. Alright. Assault Blackwing Kunai Drizzle. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing 1 Blackwing monster. If it's summoned this way, this card is treated as a tuner monster. Once per turn, you can target 1 single monster you control and declare a level from 1 to 8. It becomes that level until the end of this turn. Blackwing Host the Mega Quake. Cannot be special summoned. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card battles a monster, after damage calculation, return that monster to the hand. Once per turn during your main phase 1, you can have this card lose exactly 1000 attack, and if you do, return all cards in your opponent's spell and trap card zone to the hand. Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. Cannot be special summoned. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Blackwing monster in your graveyard. Also summon that target in defense position. Blackwing Board the Spear. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Board the Spear, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Blackwing Boris the Sharp. During your main phase 1, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Blackwing monster you control. If that monster attacks this turn, you take no battle damage from the attack. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, destroy the opponent's monster that it battled after damage calculation. Blackwing Breeze the Zephyr. If this card is added from your deck to your hand by a card effect, you special summon this card from your hand. It cannot be used as a synchro material except for a synchro summon of a Blackwing monster. Blackwing Brisote the Tailwind, or Brisote. If you have 2 or more face-up Blackwing monsters you control, if 2 or more face-up Blackwing monsters you control were destroyed this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, gain 600 life points. Blackwing Kalima the Haze. Kalima. During your opponent's battle phase, if you control no monsters, you can banish this card from the graveyard, then target 1 single monster in your graveyard, special summon that target, or banish it at the end of the battle phase. This is a quick effect. Blackwing Damascus the Polar Knights. During either player's turn, you can discard this card to target one Blackwing monster you control. It gains 500 attack until the end phase. Blackwing, decay the ill wind. Once per turn during your end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, take 1000 damage. When this card is normal or special summon, you can target one Blackwing monster you control, then activate one of these effects. Either increase its level by 1 or reduce its level by 1. You're going to use this effect once per turn. Blackwing, Elfin the Raven. If you control a Blackwing monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one monster your opponent controls, change that target's battle position. Blackwing, Istian of Two Swords. If a Blackwing monster you control battles an opponent's monster, and your opponent still controls that monster at the end of the damage step, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. Blackwing, Fang the Steel Chain. This card can attack your opponent directly. If this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by direct attack, target one attack position monster your opponent controls, change that target to defense position. Blackwing, Gale the Whirlwind. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Gale the Whirlwind, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That target loses attack and defense. That target's attack and defense become half its current attack and defense. Blackwing, Gilliva the Searing Wind. When your opponent declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can switch the attack and defense of this card until the end phase. Until the end of this turn. Sorry. Blackwing, Gladius the Midnight Sun. If the only face-up monster you control is one Blackwing monster other than Gladius the Midnight Sun, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Blackwing, Gusta Backblast. If you control no cards, you can special summon this card from your hand. If your opponent's monster attacks a Blackwing monster you control, the attacking monster loses 300 attack during the damage step only. Blackwing, Healing the Tengu Wind. When you take 2000 or more the battle damage from your opponent's monster direct attack while this card is in the graveyard, you can select one level 3 or lower Blackwing monster in your graveyard, special summon that monster and this card from the graveyard. Their effects are negated. Each player can only use this effect once per duel. Blackwing, Hurricane the Tornado. Once per turn, you can target one single monster on the field. This card's attack and defense. Attack becomes the monster's current attack until the end of this turn. Blackwing, Jetstream the Blue Sky. During the damage calculation, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to prevent a Blackwing monster you control from being destroyed by this battle. Blackwing, Jin the Rain Shadow. If this card battles a face-up monster with defense equal to or less than the this card's attack, destroy that monster at the start of the damage step without damage calculation. Blackwing, Kalut the Moon Shadow. During either player's damage step, when a Blackwing monster you control is attacking or being attacked, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. That monster gains 1400 attack until the end of this turn. Blackwing, Kochi the Daybreak. If this card was special summoned, it cannot be used as a synchro material. Blackwing, Kogarashi the Wanderer. When a face-up Blackwing monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a monster is synchro summoned using this card as a synchro material, the opponent of this card cannot. The opponent of this card's owner cannot activate cards or effects. Blackwing, Chris the Crack Dawn. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Crack of Dawn, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect once turn this way. Once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by spell or trap cards. Blackwing Mistral the Silver Shield. If this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, reduce the next battle damage you would take this turn to 0. Blackwing Orochi the Squall. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Squall, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Squall once per turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a single material monster, you can target one monster on the field, change the target's battle position. Blackwing Pinaki the Waxing Moon. Cannot be used as a synchro material except for a Blackwing synchro monster. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there from the field this turn, you can add one Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Blackwing Shura the Blue Flame. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon one Blackwing monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck, but its effects are negated. Blackwing Chirako the Dawn. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can normal summon or set this card without tributing. Once per turn during the main phase 1, you can target one Blackwing monster you control. Until the end of this turn, it gains attack equal to the total attack of all Blackwing monsters currently on the field, except itself. Monsters other than that targeted monster cannot attack during the turn you activate this effect. Blackwing Steam the Cloak. If this face-up card leaves the field, special summon one Steam tokens. If this card is in your graveyard, you can tribute one monster, special summon this card from the graveyard. You can only use this effect once per duel. If this card is summoned this way, is used as a single material, all other single material monsters must be Blackwing monsters. Blackwing Value the Emblem of Honor. If this face-up card on the field cannot be used as a single material. If this card is in the graveyard, you can target one non-tuner Blackwing monster in your graveyard, balance both this card and that target, and if you do, special summon one Blackwing synchro monster from your extra deck whose level equals the total levels of the balanced monsters, but its effects are negated. Blackwing Zyphros the Elite. If this card is in your graveyard, you can return one face-up card you control to the hand, special summon this card. If you do, take 400 damage. You can only use this effect once per duel. Alright, Assault Blackwing Chidori the Rain Sprinkling. Requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters to summon. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as a material, it is treated as a tuner monster while face up on the field. This card gains 200 attack for each Blackwing monster in your graveyard. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Wing Beast type synchro monster in your graveyard, except Chidori the Rain Sprinkling, special summon it. Assault Blackwing Rakiri the Rain Shower. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it is treated as a tuner monster while face up on the field. Once per turn, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Blackwing monsters you control, destroy them. Black Winged Dragon. If you would take damage from a card effect, place one Black Feather counter on this card instead. This card loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter on it. Once per turn, you can remove all Black Feather counters on this card and target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That target loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter you removed. If it does, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack loss by this effect. Black Feather Dark Rage Dragon. Once per turn, when you take damage, you can send the top 5. You can send up to 5 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Then, if any monsters were sent to the graveyard by this effect, this card gains 400 attack. Blackwing Nothong the Starlight. If this card is special summoned, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. Then one face-up monster your opponent controls loses 800 attack and defense. You can only use this effect once per turn. During the main phase, you can normal summon one Blackwing monster in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only use this effect once per turn. Blackwing Silverwind the Ascent. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field with defense lower than this card's attack. Destroy those targets. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. During each of your opponent's turns, the first Blackwing monster you control that will be destroyed by battle is not destroyed. Blackwing Armed Wing. If this card attacks a defense position monster, it gains 500 attack during the damage step only. Also inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Blackwing Armor Master. Cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked a monster, you can place 1 wedge counter on that monster, maximum of 1. You can remove all wedge counters from your opponent's monsters. The attack and defense of those monsters that had wedge counters become 0 until the end of this turn. Blackwing Tamer. Obsidian Yugioh. Blackwing monsters you can target 1 level 5 or higher wing beast type monsters in your graveyard. It's supposed to summon it. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets only this card, or when your opponent targets this card for an attack, you can target 1 other Blackwing monster you control that would be an appropriate target. That card, effect, or attack now targets the newer target. You can only use this effect once per turn. Then the side cards, Shadow Nest and Blackwing Aura the Northern Lights. Okay. Okay, Crow. Okay. My Armor Master. I actually do got Armor Master for real, but it's only got like a handful of Blackwing cards. Like, I really love this deck because like this and other decks like Yusei's deck and my Raid Raptor deck is guaranteed you can get like a lot of monsters on the field. So you can easily XCs or synchro summon monsters with ease. What Hunter pace. Yep. Wasn't paying attention. I thought it was going to give me like tokens. I completely messed that up. I screwed that up big time. Dang it. Come on. One monster. Yes. Son of a... Unbelievable. Wasted move. Okay, now okay. Okay, there's Crow's deck. We'll make this part 1, but when we come back, let's see who next. I had written down so I won't forget. Oh, Axel's I put on the list too. So yeah, Axel and his fire. So yeah. So Axel, Gong, Trey, Leo. Did I pass Leo already? Oh no, I did not. So yeah. All right, Cyrus, Leo, Trey, Gong, and Axel. I might as well do because it's like 8 of these people. We only did 3, so let's go over with Axel, and then we'll call it for this video. Okay, there we go. Axel Brody. I'm added him onto the list because I mostly wanted to like return to his fire theme deck. And I made adjustments since the last time I did a video of him, which you can easily see on my YouTube channel. Alright, Blaze Accelerator. You can target one monster your opponent controls, send one Pyro type monster with 500 or less attack from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that target. You cannot declare an attack during the turn you activate this effect. Burial from a different dimension. Target up to 3 banished monsters, return them to the graveyard. Okay. Soul of Fire. Your opponent draws one card. Select one Pyro type monster from your deck and remove it from play. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack of that removed monster. If you activate this card, you cannot declare an attack this turn. Try Blaze Accelerator. Activate only by sending one face-up Blaze Accelerator on your side of the field to the graveyard. You can send one Power type monster from your hand to the graveyard to destroy one monster your opponent controls and inflict 500 damage to your opponent, but you cannot declare an attack the turn you do. Wildfire. Pay 500 life points, destroy a face-up Blaze Accelerator card you control and destroy all monsters on the field. Then special summon one Wildfire token in attack position. Also, you cannot declare an attack this turn. Include Backfire here. When a fire monster you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Big Burn. When you can only activate this card when your opponent activates a card that targets a monster in the graveyard. Remove from play all monsters in both players' graveyards. Blaze Accelerator Reload. This card's name becomes Try Blaze Accelerator while in the spell and trap card zone. During either player's main phase, you can send one volcanic card from your hand to the graveyard except Volcanic Eruption. And if you do, draw one card. You can only use this effect once per turn. During either player's main phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard. Send one volcanic card from your deck to the graveyard except Volcanic Eruption. Firewall. When your opponent declares a direct attack, you can negate that monster's attack by removing from play one Pyro type monster in your graveyard. Pay 500 life points during each of your standby phases. If you do not, destroy this card. Volcanic Recharge. Return up to 3 volcanic monster cards from your graveyard to your deck. Okay. Flame Manipulator. This spell caster attacks enemies with 5 related spells such as Sea of Flames and the Wall of Fire. Masaki the Legendary Swordsman. Legendary Swordmaster Masaki is a veteran of over 100 battles. Fire Trooper. When this card is summoned, you can send it to the graveyard to inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. Infernal Flame Emperor. This card cannot be special summoned. When this card is tribute summoned, you can remove from play up to 5 fire monsters in your graveyard. Destroy a number of spell or trap cards on the field equal to the number of monsters removed from play by this effect. Royal Firestorm Guards. If this card is normal summoned, target 4 Pyro type monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 4 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. Volcanic Blaster. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by battle, you can place one volcanic monster in your deck on top of your deck. Volcanic Counter. When you take battle damage while this card is in your graveyard, banish it from your graveyard. Then if there is a fire monster other than counter in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the amount of battle damage you took. Volcanic Doomfire. This card cannot be normal summon or set. This card can only be special summoned by sending a face of Tri-Blaze Accelerator you control to the graveyard. During your opponent's battle phase, your opponent must attack this monster with any attack position monsters they control. When this card destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed by this effect. Volcanic Hammerer. Once per turn, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the number of volcanic monsters in your graveyard times 200. You cannot activate this. This card cannot attack during this turn. Volcanic Queen. This card cannot be normal summon or set. This card can only be special summoned from your hand to your opponent's side of the field by attributing one monster your opponent controls. If you special summon this card, you cannot normal or set this turn. Once per turn, you can send one other card you control to the graveyard to inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. During your end phase, either tribute one other monster or take 1000 damage. Volcanic Rocket. When this card is summoned, you can add one Blaze Accelerator card from your deck to or a graveyard to your hand. Volcanic Scattershot. If this card is sent to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. If this card is sent to the graveyard by an effect of Blaze Accelerator card, you can send 2 Volcanic Scattershots from your hand or deck to the graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Volcanic Shell. Once per turn, you can pay 500 life points, add 1 Volcanic Shell from your deck to your hand. This card must be in the graveyard to activate and to resolve this effect. Alright, Volcanic Slicer. Once per turn, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. If you activate this effect, this card cannot attack during this turn. And of course, the Flame Swordsman I added for good effect, so I can at least utilize them. There you go. I really like Axel's deck. I mean, it's like this. There's a nice fire. Probably one of the best fire attributed cards that I have, at least that I've seen. Hell of a move. There we go. I want to try to get Cyrus. Like gyroid. Oh no, ambulance roid. A sweet way to avoid that nasty effect. Oh, I guess not. Because in the anime, when you do something like that, then it avoids the negative effects of power bond. Interesting. You're essentially stuck. case he has mirror for us. Yep, just pretty much wasted your fusion. Nice. Okay, and that was Axel's deck. So now next one is Trey, and it's Chronomaly. So we'll do that. We'll probably do that. Don't know if I'll do that Friday because I already got like reviews coming up, but yeah, I'll probably squeeze it in on Friday, the second parter. And later on that Saturday evening, I'll continue on with that, you know, further along then. So, because right after this, I'm hopping on to my PS5 so I can play some more Final Fantasy X and Horizon Zero Dawn. And then return to it this Saturday evening. So yeah, look forward to that. So we gotta do, all we have left is Gong, Trey, Leo, and Cyrus. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time, and for more of this. But yeah, if you want to join me later on for some more Horizon Zero Dawn and Final Fantasy X, I'll look forward to see you guys then. Take care.